Well, we are out at the Sugar Shack. This is probably where the best maple syrup in the Michigan's Upper Peninsula is made. Right here. So, made quite a bit of maple syrup here. So, we need to paint it. This is T111. So, and it's factory primed. Wouldn't be bad, but they got red ends on it and everything. So I purchased a Wagner high volume low pressure sprayer called the Control Max, and I got it from Amazon. It's about $100 with shipping. I've used it once already, and I painted some wicker furniture with it, and I wanted to see how it would spray latex paint unthinned. And I tell you what, it really did it. It spit it out, but I wasn't very happy with it. So we're going to try to paint the Sugar Shack today with exterior latex, but I'm going to try thinning it. So this is what comes in the box. You got a couple different cup options. You got the gun with some controls on it, and then you got I'm assuming it's like a turbine type air supply. And then you got the hose that hooks to the gun. So, and we're going to be spreading Dutch Boy. And we took the gallon of Dutch Boy. I put 2 cups of Floetrol in it, and then 2 cups of water. So it'd be like, I guess it'd be like a 4-to-1 maybe. So, and normally I would, if I was spraying it out of my regular high volume low pressure gun, I would get it much thinner than that. But as you can see here, I'm kind of experimenting. The one thing I couldn't find on the Wagner in the instruction manual or anything online, I couldn't really get a tip size on it. So it is a very big tip. I'm going to guess 2 millimeter. That's a guess. So it's a fairly good sized tip. So hopefully it'll shoot out the paint. I looked at a couple different options for I wanted a household use, basically for latex paint, a gun for latex. So I looked at the Harbor Freight HVLP, considered that one, but this one got such good reviews on Amazon, and people seem to like it for shooting latex. So that's basically the only thing I'm ever going to use this for. So we'll give it a try today. As I say, when I put unthin latex, it was Glidden, unthin exterior latex paint in it, it didn't really atomize. So we'll see once I try to thin it how well it's going to spray, and hopefully this is the cabin part of the Sugar Shack. So this is where we sit in here and eat pancakes and do our thing. So, all right, we'll get the gun ready to go and see how it works. Okay, we got everything set up. It's plugged in. Got some paint in the gun just to test it. I'm going to turn it on. Now, this thing's always burping. There's always air coming out the end. So be aware of that for, I guess, for dust. So I've got the paint thinned. This is your control down here. Pressure control, minus. But I'm thinking for latex paint, it's going to have to be up kind of high. I'm actually going to start with it damn near topped out. And then that might not be too bad. But you can see how it still really spits. It's not, doesn't atomize the greatest, and I don't know if I'm going to have to try to thin out the paint more. It's not bad though. Once you overlap it, it's not too bad. I say I'm not really used to spraying latex paint, and I hate latex paint actually, but it seems to be the route everybody's going these days. We'll try in the rest of this gun, see how it applies on the wall, and if it needs to be thinned out more, so be it. Well, I got one coat on. The paint probably could have been thinned a little bit more, but it wasn't too bad. Got the first coat on. I tell you what, if you've got two people taping ahead of you and you're spraying, you can go through a couple of gallons of paint awful quick. Because the cabin took, or the sugar shack took 2 gallons of paint to do. So got 2 gallons, and then I'll put a second coat on. It definitely needs a second coat. So I didn't know if it would just be done in one coat, but we've got 2 more gallons of paint to put on tomorrow, and 2 coats is going to be perfect. So the spray gun sprayed very, very well. It's not going to go on like an automotive paint. That's the only type of stuff I've ever really sprayed before. It doesn't go on like that, but it doesn't go on bad either. So I guess I just have to get used to the latex paint. So, but it worked very well, and put the second coat on tomorrow and paint the trim. I think I'm going to paint the lattice work white and the trim white too, because I think we got enough white paint, and go from there, get it all cleaned up, and it'll be ready for next fall or next spring to make maple syrup. So, well, it's day 2 of the Sugar Shack project. So I was just checking out yesterday. I swore after I left I could see, stroke marks where I was working the Wagner, back and forth. But today they've dried out, and it's a pretty even coat. As I say, I was trying to get about a 50% overlap. I think it turned out all right. So we're painting the eaves too today. And I was holding just like a piece of cardboard, hold a piece of cardboard up as I painted up, close to the top, just to minimize the amount of overspray. But since we're painting that separate, I guess it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to throw a second coat on the shack today. Sandhill cranes aren't happy. Just want to show you the gun clean. This thing was coated. I mean, you couldn't see, any colors up here. It had a 1/8 inch of latex paint built up on it, and this was just cleaned in the sink with water. And I'm assuming this is some type of plastic that paint won't stick to, but it cleaned up really nice. This is pretty much all your components. Here's your tip, and you can see that's a fairly good size tip right there too. And here's the cap, and there's the retaining ring, and that just goes back together. And on the adjustments on it, this is the air pressure adjustments on the compressor, the little turbine compressor part. Just lock the hose into there. The amount of paint is right here. Basically all it does is, you're just allowing more trigger travel on there. But seems to work out all right. I was using about the max pressure with that latex paint. So, as I say, I'm happy so far. Everything's turning out all right. I'm going to put a second coat on today. Well, I just wanted to show you the paint. Now this is the paint unthinned. This is right out of the gallon. I've got a 3-gallon old ice cream pail here, which works great. And I just poured the Dutch Boy Max Bond, no prep, no prime, whatever. I don't really buy into all that, but that's how thick it is right there. What I'm going to add to it is 2 cups of Floetrol. If you don't know what this product is, it's kind of a thinner additive type thing that you can add to latex paint specifically. It's supposed to eliminate brush strokes and roller marks. I read online and some professional painters type blogs where the guys really seem to like it. This was a gallon for $14. So, and I think you can add up to a quart per gallon for the latex paint. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 cups of this, and then 3 cups of water, and then I'll stir it up, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, this is after the Floetrol and 4 cups of water. So 1 quart of water, 2 cups of Floetrol, and she's still reasonably thick. But with that larger tip on that Wagner, I think it's going to be all right. This is my second coat, so I kind of want to play with it a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. It's a little bit more than I did yesterday, so we'll see how that flows. So I'll do a 50% overlap on my strokes and call it good. I suppose I should turn it on. Well, got the 2 coats on, and got the trim painted. Everything looks pretty good. Might need to touch up a few spots here and there, but the sprayer worked quite well. So I will, I guess, just kind of give my overview on what I think of the sprayer when I go and clean it up for about the 4th time today. So, all right, okay, bye. Well, in conclusion, I would definitely have to recommend the Wagner Power Max. I think it did an excellent job on what I was asking it to do, and that what I was asking it to do was spray latex paint. So there is a little bit of a learning curve on how to thin your paint out, and just because I've got it down for the Dutch Boy I was using on the Sugar Shack doesn't mean that that same ratio is going to work for the Glidden paint or the Pittsburgh or Sherwin-Williams or anything else. So the only con for this thing that I can find is this tip size is what you get is what you get, and that's got to be about a 2mm. This is the only other semi-large diameter tip I have, and it's a 1.7mm on a gun that I use for primer. And this has got to be at least a 2mm, maybe slightly bigger, which is good for latex paint. But if you thought you were going to mix up paint and spray your car with this, I don't think it's going to work out too well for you. So, but for what I bought it for, which was latex paint, it did an excellent job. And the one thing I realized when I had the Dutch Boy, you'll get on latex paint, you'll get a buildup here from spraying, and you have to, every 10 minutes or so, you'll have to wipe off the tip because you start getting a little bit of buildup right there, latex paint. But the batch that I mixed up, which I thought was perfect, I didn't get any buildup. So I don't know if that'll work for other people too. If you're getting buildup, maybe it's not thinning quite enough. So as I say, when I thinned it to where I really liked it, I wasn't getting any buildup on that tip. You cannot buy new tips for this, different size tips. If you could buy even a 1.5 millimeter tip, I'd try automotive paint out of it just to give it a test. But you can't. So I would definitely recommend this for stains, latex paint, in household use. I would definitely paint my house with this. It definitely gives a nice smooth coat for that. But I wouldn't try to use it for any type of automotive finish. But all in all, I recommend it. It's only $100, and you get quite a bit for $100, and all in one unit. You don't have to worry about a compressor or anything like that, hoses, and well, besides the hose to the turbine thing that comes with it. But no, it's pretty good. I like it.